All right, guys, we're back. DCI Finals was this past weekend, and it was insane to say the least. There was a lot of unexpected things that happened, but we're here to talk about it and just kind of review how it all went down and what our thoughts are, because we have a lot to say about, everything that went down. But yeah, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look back at our predictions, because if you guys watched the video that we made, we talked about what we thought would happen, and we're right in some parts and we're very off in some other parts. So let's just go ahead and start there. Alright, so we've got our predictions here, and for the most part, we were pretty right about most things. I mean, the only thing that we got wrong was Blue Devils percussion. Or we all predicted that Blue Devils, well, Malik didn't predict anything because he doesn't know how the whole format works. But Alan and I predicted that Blue Devils would win, and they didn't.
No,
and,
it was a total shock, to be honest.
I did say it was a
no
toss-up. I will say it was a toss-up. I did say that.
Yeah,
Okay?
great.
That's all
Good
I'm
job. But the gap between Blue Devils and Bluecoats was like, it was 19.6 to 19.617 or something. So it was like the tiniest margin. But you know what? I'm happy for them. I'm not sitting here complaining about the scores. Like, I'm also very happy for the Bluecoats and the organization to take home a percussion award. You know what?
It's their first one.
First one ever.
Their first Sanford. Yeah.
And I mean, we all guessed that Boston would win guard, and they did, and they deserve that too. And Blue Devils won visual, general effect, and brass, which finally they won brass. I'm very happy for that core, really.
Took it home.
That's really, really cool to see. But I mean, none of us could have predicted a tie for second. I mean, that's impossible. I mean, it's really crazy.
Two nights in a row too, which is
2 nights in a row.
That's probably never happened in the history of DCI, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
But we got to get this right. One thing we definitely did not get right is our top score for Blue Devils. It's nowhere near breaking 99. We had hope, and to be fair, I do think that Blue Devils didn't have the best run on finals. I think their best run was semifinals. I thought they had an insanely good run on semis. But yeah, they got a 98.75, and it was a very, very good show, and that's a really high score. That's like a super high score. I think that might be in the top 10 scores of all time. Like top 10 scores of all time. I think so. I'll have to go and check it. I'll correct myself on the screen right here. But yeah, it's pretty insane. They had a great year, and Boston and Bluecoats were also both great, and all three of us had Boston and Bluecoats in second and third. But yeah, we got most everything right. But it's interesting looking at the comments of that video that we did, our prediction video, and seeing people kind of saying that we had Blue Devils bias, or that we just picking Blue Devils to win everything. And look, okay, we are Blue Devils. Yes, we have obviously we do have a bias. I recognize it all the time that we love the way that Blue Devils does things. We love their style, but like, to say that we're biased for picking them to win, and you're making it seem like we just pick them to win because we want them to win, or because that's just what we choose. But we make very educated guesses in this, and we do want to kind of predict these right and try to see how accurately we can guess it. And it's not our fault that the year that after we age out, Blue Devils has an incredible show and they're dominating the charts. But it's just interesting to see these comments that are like, you guys are just Blue Devils, like, bandwagons or whatever. Well, bandwagon's not the right term.
And we've all seen them live, like pretty late in the season too. So we've had a pretty good perspective on what each core was bringing to the table. So it's like, and plus all the years of experience combined that we all have, all three of us have. Like, we've all marched like so many years of drum corps. I feel like, what we brought to that prediction video was pretty accurate. I mean, the scores show it. Like, we were pretty damn close. So anyway,
it's like, I don't know about you guys, but like the tie for semis and finals night between Boston and Bluecoats, like, if I were in those two cores, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I feel like I would feel like unresolved towards the end of the season, because it's like that was like the internal battle all season, it felt like. Or at the beginning, at least, it felt like it was like a Boston Blue Devil battle. But then the whole back half of the season, Bluecoats have been creeping up so close to Boston. The captions were like swapping back and forth, and there was just questions that, is Bluecoats going to take it, or is Boston going to continue to push towards the end of the season? And the fact that it ended on just like the stalemate just
Yeah.
felt so little
It's like they ended on
unresolved.
a gridlock, bro.
And like,
And it's like,
there's nothing about.
sorry.
Sorry, yeah. I mean, it's like their silver medals are valid. Like they both got second place.
Yes.
And in terms of
Yeah.
like them as cores, it's separate cores. They both deserve second place. Like that's just how it played out, and unfortunately, that's the way it was. But I do feel I do feel some sympathy for those members because I know how frustrating it must be to sometimes feel like, you know, we deserve this second place medal, or even knowing that maybe they even having some sort of more concrete answer saying I'd rather know who, you know, I'd rather one core get it than both of us. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
I've never been in the position of a tie, and none of us have. It's been a while since there's been a tie, so it's very interesting to see that.
yeah. And the way it shakes out too, it's not like they got the same score in every caption or anything like that. It was like all different scores in those captions that just ended up adding up to the same number. 2 nights
The
in a row, which
coincidence
is
of that,
insane.
too. It's such
Yeah,
a huge-
what are the odds?
Okay, and then let's just talk about this. I'm just going to address this because I've seen this everywhere, like all over Instagram comments, Facebook comments, and look, okay, I know there's people that are just haters and they're just trying to elicit reactions, but I just see it really commonly that the scores are rigged, okay? And like, look, listen, okay, let me just play this out for you, okay? In order for there to have been some sort of foul play that manufactured this tie artificially 2 nights in a row, all 12 judges would have to sit down and they'd have to say, okay, look, each one of you judges needs to put down this exact score to the 100th of a point so that when they're all added up at the end of the day, all the different captions are added up, then averaged and everything, then it will result in a tie. It would take insane collaboration and full like foul play from every single judge in order to do that. So for those of you guys saying like, oh, this is all rigged, like there's no way that there actually could have been a tie, like it's actually more, it shows that it's more real, that these scores are real, that the fact that they did get a tie, because no one at DCI would want this to happen. Like, this is not something that anybody
Yeah.
wants to happen, it's just how it played out. So, those are my thoughts.
It's
I
not,
also
it's
know-
not a... Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I also know that being a DCI judge is like really strict. Like, DCI has a tight lid on like what you can and cannot do as a judge, and I think that they're not even allowed to like have conversations with each other before the show, and they're kind of just like gridlocked to like do the appropriate thing as a judge, not have any outside influence, and to be like in this bubble so that you could judge appropriately. So there's no way that it could have happened.
I mean, and then the other thing is like people are saying, oh, the judges are biased, or the judges are getting paid by the Blue Devils, or any organization for that matter. It's just like you're spitting in the face of these professionals and educators and people who have been like working in this activity and like are very respected, and it's like you're insinuating that the Blue Devils or some group is paying all of these judges to basically throw out any authenticity and just put scores in for what? For money? Like it just doesn't make sense. Like these claims are
It's
ridiculous.
also a non-profit organization.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
so
not like there isn't a paper trail.
right. And so it's just
Yeah.
I'm only saying this because I felt like this year in particular, more than in the past, at least even more than in 19, where it was like kind of an upset that the Blue Devils won. I feel like this year even more, there's so much like hate towards the Blue Devils winning, and so many people that are like going as far as saying that the show, Blue Devils show, is emotionless and stale and boring. It's like,
Mid.
how,
Calling it mid.
like, I understand if you prefer a show over another, but if you sit and watch the entire Blue Devils show and come out saying that it's emotionless, then you're emotionless. Like, I don't know what to say.
You're watching the wrong
Yeah,
show.
like I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And like I know it's probably not the majority. It's just the loudest voices in the room that attract the most attention. But I just wanted to comment on it because there's just so many comments.
Like it's like I get it if you don't like the show itself, or you're not a fan of it, or it's not exciting for you, or what have you. That has to do, in my opinion, with like GE and GE alone. Like maybe you can argue that they shouldn't have gotten that GE score or whatever, But the Blue Devils dominated in visual, and they did very, very well in music. Like, that is where most of their points came from. Like, that is where they took off from the other ensembles. And that's an execution thing from the members. Like, the members are the ones who put in the work there to make that good. And when you have a clean show and it's really, really good, your G score is going to go up because of the effect that has on the judges and the effect that it has on the crowd. That, I guarantee you, had a great time watching the Blue Devils when they saw them in person, which a lot of you guys have not. I think that a lot of people are missing that point. Like, when a show is that good and you see it in person, that GE score is going to go crazy because it's so clean. It's so well executed. That's where that comes from. It's not, boring, so they shouldn't have won. They won because they're good. That's all I have to say about that. So
I see a lot of comments about, like, whether or not the crowd was standing or how many times the crowd claps or and that being an issue with, like, there should be a crowd caption where the crowd reaction matters. And the thing is that there's so many moments in the show where it just and the Blue Devils show specifically, where it's, like, not appropriate to clap because there's, like, so many things that are just mesmerizing, and it's more of like a still awe than like he did a backflip, I need to clap. But there's not, like, a lot of moments like that in the Blue Devils show. It's more about that, like, just being, like, mesmerized by the whole production.
I think what I try to equate it to is, like, people wanting to be at a rock concert versus people wanting to be at a museum. Like, people that go to the museum, they look at a piece and then they want to find out more about it. A lot of people are confused a little bit about what the Blue Devils show is about and what all the music choices that they picked. Like, that's the point a little bit. Like, they want you to go deeper and find out more about the show because it'll make more sense and then you will appreciate it more. Another example is, like, Crown Show, where it's, like, very loud, very simple, and in your face. You know what I mean? But those are the two. That's the difference between the two. A lot of people want the latter because it's, like, obviously simple,
easy
to grasp,
to consume.
It's easy to consume, and I think that's a bit unfair to the Blue Devils, or any show that has that kind of deep dive into what their show's about, and you have to find out. I think it's a bit unfair to just want the latter and say the latter is the better and they should have won and the other one is not good, period. So
okay, I have
that's my 2 cents on
I want to jump in on what Alan was saying about how, like, crowd reaction. And a lot of times, a lot of the comments I'm seeing are, like, how did Blue Devils win GE? Like, because the crowd was way louder for Boston, the crowd was way louder for Crown. And the other comment I see is Blue Devils writes their shows to the score sheet. Blue Devils doesn't write their shows to entertain people, they write their shows to win. And kind of like what you said, Malik, it's like, if people want to go to a rock concert, if those are the kind of people watching the show, they're probably not going to be as hype, or they're not going to be standing on their feet watching an orchestra play Mahler. You know what I mean? It's a different thing, but it's still incredible. And the problem I see is that it's like, when I see people say, Blue Devils write their show to win and not to entertain, I mean, I'm entertained. Like, if you don't find it entertaining, that's on you, kind of, because the judges find it extremely entertaining, and so do we. But all this goes to say, guys, is, like, we're not here to, berate the children across the country who prefer Boston or Crown. That's not the point. We just hope that some of you guys can look at this from a different perspective and not go on the internet and be so quick to say that Blue Devils is, paying judges, or the judges are biased for the Blue Devils, or their show is emotionless and stale, or whatever. Like, I just hope that you guys can appreciate all the cores for what they bring to the table, because every core, that's what I love about the activity, especially right now, is that all the cores are very different. Like, they all have their own taste and their own style, and you just can't be mad that one core is doing better than another.
I just also want to piggyback just a little bit on, like, people, going really, like, being a little bit hateful in the comments. It's like, people spend so much time, I think we said this earlier, but people spend so much time working on a show like that. It's like disrespectful a little bit. So it heats me up a little bit. So.
And all these people, if you think that some of these members aren't reading these comments, you're wrong. Like members from all across the course
Yeah.
see these things. You know what I mean? And of course, I don't like
Yes.
at least having been marching in the Blue Devils and haven't seen all these comments. Like we've seen it all. We've seen all of these comments before. But and it doesn't affect us to that in that extreme of a degree. But it is just like it kind of sucks to see some people disrespecting and feeling so strongly about about something that's just so off. It's just so not accurate in a lot of ways. But yeah. I don't know. There's nothing else to say, really. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. We just kind of wanted to make a video and talking about how finals went down and our thoughts about it. But yeah, we're gonna have more videos coming out soon, and yeah, leave it in the comments below what you guys thought about how the season went down and what your thoughts are about Blue Devils show. I'd like to hear some educated and thoughtful comments about your critiques of the Blue Devils or your critiques of other shows. So yeah, leave it in the comments below, and then we're gonna have some more videos coming out soon. So see you guys in the next one. Peace.